Hello and welcome back to another video on the recipe and to another edition of Smackdown Out of 10. The Queen and King of the Ring tournaments are taking place, but we're coming up on the end with the pay-per-view next weekend, Night of Champions. Heading into Friday's show, EA, Sky and Oberfemi had already secured their spots in the finals, and we saw the two remaining semi-final matches, but those weren't the bigger bouts. We had a massive match to kick things off, which was Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the world title. Starting the show with a match many believe was the main event is an interesting choice, especially on a show that always brings with a long promo segment. This week WWE got right into the action. Gunther's choice of Zayn as the official made things a little more interesting due to the friction he has both. He had beaten Gunther for the title and he wants to beat Cody for one eventually, so he doesn't come into this with any perceived bias. The match was more about the story than the wrestling, but Rhodes and Gunther did a good job making it feel competitive. It wasn't as hard fought as their previous encounter, but it had its moments. Zayn, being the ref, made it obvious that some kind of shenanigans would take place, but how everything went down wasn't as expected, and it definitely gives Gunther ammunition to demand another title match after being screwed. All in all, it wasn't a bad match, but it's easy to see why this was the opener instead of the main event. WWE knew it wasn't going to be as good as their last match, so they tried to do something a bit different. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. We then got Damian Priest and R-Truth versus the Tongas for the tag titles, and yeah, before the match, the challengers told Solo to stay backstage because of his bloodline problems getting in the way of success. The match played out as expected. Both teams got little offense. The cover showed up despite the request from his allies, and that led to their downfall. Felt very copy and paste. The match was fine, but nobody will be putting it on a pedestal. Truth and Priest still over the crowd, so having them retain was right. If you're looking for things on the show you can skip to save time, maybe one of them. The most interesting thing that happened after it was over was Tama and Tala turning their back on Solo, which, yeah, probably expected. 5 out of 10. As we then moved on to Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Saints for a shot at the US title, but it was also the rubber match between these two since they had a previous victory in their feud. Saints and Hayes immediately turned into a fast-paced contest, but it was a nice change from before the two matches, which were kind of slower. In fact, it was almost shocking how much more entertaining this was than what came before. Melo and Saints are both talented performers, and WWE seems to have found a great combination with them. Saints got the win, but he did so by exposing Turnbuckle, which protected Hayes in defeat. It wasn't an ideal ending, but it's playing with the heel character Saints has been playing. This is the kind of WWE needs to put on more often. It was exciting, showcased two talents who deserve spotlight, and gave a surprising ending. So yeah, 7 out of 10. As we then moved on to Jey Uso versus Javon Evans to see who would go into the King of the Ring final. To say it was physical would be an understatement. It might just be the most competitive match Jey's had in 2026. Both these guys look great, worked well together and put on a fun show for the fans in attendance watching at home. They were given plenty of time and they used it wisely. Evans was the standout for his physicality, but Uso looked from behind and he has in quite some time. Having him pick the own OG up and raise his hand after match was a nice way to end the competitive semi-final. If you've been critical of Jey's recent performances, take time to check this man out. He looked like he had a renewed focus and Evans was great too. So yeah, 7 out of 10. As we then moved on to the last match on the show was the Queen of the Ring bout between Liv Morgan and Charlotte Flair, but before it got started, the Queen was attacked backstage by Jade Cargill, Beef Haven Meechin. The entire story of the match revolved around her injured leg. Flair made to look like a vigilant but short-sighted competitor by continuing to despite injury. Having all displaced, the medical team tried to talk her out of continuing, added to the drama, and the Queen did a great job of sending the emotion that was going on. Unfortunately for her, Morgan prevailed by making a tap out to advance to the Queen of the Ring finals, putting on a decent match, but it was hindered a little by the story they were trying to tell. Limiting one of your most athletic competitors can do by having a sudden injury is always a gamble. They did a good job, but yeah, it kind of made a predictable outcome. 6 out of 10. And overall, SmackDown this week gets 6 out of 10 from me. It felt like it addressed a lot of ongoing storylines, which was good, but we ended up getting this in reaction. If you only have 5 matches on a 3-hour broadcast, you're not using your time effectively, even if there were some longer matches. Too many backstage segments and promos took place for what could have been a 6 match instead. Usos and Evans did a good job, so did Morgan and Flair, but Hayes and Saints kind of stole it for me. Much like Hayes and Ilya, WWE seems to have found another great combination that never fails to deliver a great performance. After Saints is done with Trick Williams, it wouldn't be shocking to see Melo come after him again. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
So that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.